Did you know that crime victims have the right to be present? In the past, crime victims were systematically excluded from attending criminal proceedings. Importantly, this has changed considerably over the past 30 years, and now the majority of states have guaranteed crime victims the right to be present at criminal proceedings, either through their statutes or state constitutions. However, even with these laws in place, crime victims are all too frequently denied their right to be present. Recently, a California court ordered that a mother whose son was murdered was not allowed to be in the courtroom other than when she was testifying. In another instance, families were forbidden from attending the entire trial of the defendant who kidnapped their loved ones for ransom and murdered them. Unfortunately, these are not isolated examples of victims being denied their right to be present. The right to be present is integral to many crime victims' healing process. Victims are often dealing with trauma that can include a sense of disempowerment and disconnection from others. An important part of the healing process often includes the victim gaining empowerment through connection and participation. The victim's ability to choose if he or she wants to be included in criminal justice proceedings against the accused can help to empower the victim and facilitate his or her healing. Conversely, when victims are denied their right to be present, this can intensify their sense of inequity and a loss of control, which can end up exacerbating their trauma, creating a re-victimizing experience. Even if victims choose not to be present, the ability to exercise a meaningful choice can be empowering in itself. An example of this right is found in the Federal Crime Victims' Rights Act, which provides that victims have the right not to be excluded from any such public court proceeding unless the court, after receiving clear and convincing evidence, determines that testimony by the victim would be materially altered if the victim heard other testimony at that proceeding. This means that unless the court finds it substantially likely that being present at the proceeding and hearing other testimony would cause the victim to alter his or her testimony, the victim has a right to be present at that proceeding. While criminal defendants have the constitutional right to a fair trial, the victim's mere presence at the trial does not violate that right. Victims' right to be present includes the right to attend the trial proceeding. However, for the majority of states, the right to be present goes beyond just attending the trial. Victims may have the right to attend pre-trial hearings, post-conviction sentencing, and even probation and parole hearings. The right to be present is an important participatory right, and it was intended to enable victims to choose if and how they wanted to be present for any or all proceedings throughout the criminal justice process. According to the Crime Victims' Rights Act, courts must make every effort to permit the fullest attendance possible by the victim and shall consider reasonable alternatives to the exclusion of the victim from the criminal proceeding. Some of these reasonable alternatives include the victim watching a live video of the proceeding if he or she is unable or uncomfortable with attending the proceeding in person. Additionally, courts have had to reschedule proceedings so that the victim would be able to attend. Even if state law doesn't explicitly provide for alternatives to be considered, the victim may still ask for these alternatives in order to effectuate his or her right to be present. Victims' right to be present includes the inherent right to understand what's going on in the proceedings. If the proceedings are carried out in a language the victim doesn't understand, then the victim is entitled to an interpreter's assistance. Depending on the jurisdiction, victims may be legally entitled to have institutional support at the criminal proceeding to help ensure their comfort and protection. This means that victims may bring an advocate, support person, or even a facility dog to accompany them at the proceedings. Crime victims have a special stake in the outcome of criminal proceedings and have a significant interest in watching the criminal justice system at work. The right to be present allows victims to choose whether and how they want to participate in these proceedings, which is empowering, often crucial to their healing process, and ensures an effective justice system. Now you know a little bit more about the right to be present. For more information, NCVLI has published a number of in-depth bulletins, including one that addresses 12 common victims' rights. These are available for download on our website in the Law Library. NCVLI can also provide more specific information and resources to members of the victims' rights community. To submit a request for assistance, please visit our website and fill out the online request form. Victims deserve to be treated fairly in the criminal justice system. NCVLI is here to help.